Obviously set up this great room for us and all this delicious food. We have a ton of food, so please make sure you're eating everything. We've got several stations. I think we talked about that. Also want to thank all of you spouses and significant others that are here with everyone. If you're not in the industry, as you know, it's kind of a crazy, wacky industry, and it's a great industry, but it demands a lot. So thank all of you as well for putting up with everything that goes on, being a leader in a restaurant, because that's what we have here tonight, are all of our great leaders. And I thank everyone for coming, and thank you for everything that you do. Just wanted to say a little bit about 2018 came to an end, obviously, and we had a really great year. It was a great year for Food Fight, great year for a lot of our restaurants. I think a great year for a lot of our employees, everything we've been able to do. As some of you know, we started our 401k program here just in the beginning of January, which is a big step. So hope pretty much everyone here, almost everyone here should be eligible for that. So please make sure to, always got to get the HR plug, but please, if you're able to, please partake in that. A lot of our success is because of our mission, which is to say yes, and because of so many great things that go on in all the restaurants that all of you do every day, day in and day out. We're going to talk about a few of those stories here in just a little bit, and it's really those stories that have made 2018 such a great year, and why 2019 will also be such a great year. 2019, just getting started here, but just letting everyone know, if you don't already, we are going to be opening a new restaurant. It's going to be a neighborhood Italian restaurant, and Chef Giovanni is going to be leading that restaurant. And where's So we're hoping to open that up in a few months. There'll be more details. We haven't really talked too much about that yet, but that we're really excited for that restaurant. That'll be number 20, which is pretty amazing to think of. And we're going to continue to grow, and all of that opportunity that comes with it for many of you to be able to take on new roles in different restaurants, and keep kind of growing with us as we continue to grow. So we're super excited for it, looking forward to it. So we're going to kind of switch over here to our tomato awards. As I was talking earlier, about 30 seconds ago, about these great stories that happened in 2018 that really helped our success. These stories are just kind of some of the cream of the crop of why we've had that success. So I'm going to let EGH take over here for a second, and hope she doesn't screw it up too bad.
I want to thank not only the crew here, but also Jordan Bright for making those juice boxes. Hey, vodka based and fruity, please. That's what I love. So Kevin and I were talking before we got going here, and we talked about how many people we have that are within the company that understand the tomato story, that understand its origin, and every last detail, because I've told it so many times. But we also have a lot of people here who don't know that story. So we decided we're going to tell it, and it's important. And we're filming for Monty, so I thought I wasn't gonna get emotional, but we miss you, and you're actually here with us anyway. So the tomato story. Back when we had about, I think, 12 restaurants, this is what happened. So Monty was having a friend over for brunch, and he realized as he was buying some bagels and lox that he didn't have any tomatoes. So he asked the friendly cashier that was helping him, could he please also buy a tomato? And she, I think it was she, said no. Which she wasn't quite sure what to do with, so he asked to speak to a manager or a supervisor. That supervisor came out. He said, I'm having someone over for brunch. I've got these bagels and lox. I also need a tomato, if I could buy a tomato. And that supervisor also said no. So he left. He's never been back. I drive past it all the time. I've not gone back there either. for that specific reason. And he got to thinking, I wonder what our stores would do. I wonder what our restaurants would do if someone came in and asked to please buy a tomato. So he enlisted the help of a friend. He had this friend call each one of the 12 restaurants, place an order to go, and when she came to pick up that order, she asked also if she could please have a tomato. The results came in, she reported back to him what happened at each of the restaurants, and then he called a meeting of all the general managers. It's something that we didn't do back then. So the managers all came to the office, which at that time was on Atwood Avenue, kind of scared. They all sat around a table. Monty had a grocery bag filled with tomatoes. And he told this exact story, probably with some curse words and a little bit less of a shaky voice, and certainly without the juice box influence. And so as he's telling the story, he's going around to the general managers and he's placing a tomato in front of any general manager of a store where when his friend went to pick up her to-go order, she was able to obtain a tomato. I think most of them were given to her. In one case it was sold to her. Bless Billy's heart. And totally, right? And so as he walked around the table and the managers are there kind of holding their breath, when he's finished, he was able to put a tomato in front of every single one of the general managers. Right? So what it said to him was, let's take our mission statement, let's take a bunch of fluffy buzzwords and let's boil it right down and say, you know what, our mission is to say yes. That's what we're here for. Give them the tomato, right? No matter what it is, give them the tomato. No matter what they're asking for, if we can make it happen, let's make it happen, and let's make that difference for them in that moment. And that was kind of the end of it. So fast forward just a little bit, and this kind of smarty pants guy named Jose Garcia was at I think TJ Maxx one day. And he came across a plastic tomato. And he bought it. It might have been like a strip of a bunch of fruits and vegetables, but in any case, he purchased it to get that tomato. It was green, but he took it to the local, what do you call that? Trophy shop. He took it to the local trophy shop, Arrowhead Trophies it's called, on Mayflower Drive. And he had it mounted, this green tomato. And it was called Monty's Hospitality Award. Food Fight Inc., the green tomato, still growing. He gave this to Monty just to be a pain in the neck, give him a hard time, give Monty a tomato too. And from this is why we have the Tomato Award. It's our opportunity to celebrate when people give the tomato, people go out of their way to do something special. And it can be big things, it can be little things. But tonight we're here to celebrate those winners. We get stories all throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, the executive team gets a whole list of them and we vote. And we want to celebrate those winners. So I'm going to pass it back to Kevin to kick it off. Woo.
Oh, we're ready for the first recipient? All right, that was my cue, I guess. It's just a nod. Sounds good? All right, everybody, our first recipient of the Tomato Award for this year has a side hustle as a tequila rep. He clocks hours in the air to get his pilot's license. Ladies and gentlemen, he stands 5 foot 10 inches tall from Newport Beach, California. Let's welcome Connor Bernier.
Up in the morning and out in the dark, get your rock. We're all winter without stealing every cover. I forgot all about the sweat and every dig, and every time I go out to take me
All right, so we have to tell you what Connor did here. So first of all, how Connor's GM describes him is that he's always quick with a smile and always willing to help out whenever available. most noticeable is his ability to make people laugh. So part of Connor's ability to always help jump in was one night when Connor was working at Fresco, Connor's at Fresco, and there wasn't another manager there. He was asked, because an older woman had called and wanted to order a gift card, and the person that answered the phone didn't know how to activate a gift card, so they came and asked Connor how to do that. Connor ended up speaking with the woman, and she expressed to him how it absolutely had to get to this doctor by what day? A couple days later, a few days later, and so it was imperative to do that. But Connor said, "Well, I don't really think that if I put it in the mail, it might not make it there." So he offered to go drop it off himself. So he's, the next day he's going to go try to drop this off. Well, it wasn't quite that simple. So Connor went to the hospital. It was for a doctor, right? Yeah. And he went to the hospital where he was told this doctor was, and he gets there and they say, "Well, he doesn't work here anymore." So, and they don't know where he's at. And so Connor tries, well, all right, let me go to the next, large hospital and see if anybody there knows. And they get there and nobody knows. And so in the end, Connor had to track him down, stalked him actually, and found his personal residence, and then actually delivered it there to his personal residence. So that's the great thing that Connor did. All he was asked to do is help activate a gift card, and he went through all of that to do that. So thank you. That's Connor's story.
Our next award recipient is a huge Badger Brewer and Packer fan. She has a new puppy named Ruby Cupcake. Ladies and gentlemen, standing 5'7" tall from DeForest, Wisconsin, let's welcome Ashley Seehey. Joining Ashley for this award, she's a gearhead and a beer snob, but a hippie at heart, everybody. Standing 5'7" as well from Middleton, Wisconsin, let's welcome Nicole Potter. Joining the two of them on stage, everybody, she's an owner of an amazing handbag collection who wants to study interior design. She is 5'4" tall from sunny Georgia. It is Kelsey Hecker. EGH, what's their story?
First, I have a little information about each of them. Craftsman's operations manager describes Ashley as a smart, confident, and motivated leader who is constantly pushing herself to be a better GM. She cares deeply about her staff and always makes decisions with both the interests of the business and, most importantly, her employees in mind. The dining experience at Craftsman truly benefits from Ashley's love of the restaurant and care for her team. Kelsey has been at Craftsman as a server for 2 years. Her manager credits her southern hospitality for helping guests and colleagues feel at home. She's responsible for the restaurant's social media and is known as the life of the party. And Nicole has reached the level of bar manager in her 7 years at Craftsman. She loves to talk shop about beer and craft cocktails and has an insane love for fast cars. Early last year, we received this message. I'll do my best. To whom it may concern.
Get it together.
I'm pulling it together. I wanted to bring to the attention of Food Fight the outstanding care I experienced while at Craftsman Cake One Tap over Easter weekend. I went for a quick lunch at Craftsman the Friday before Easter with my parents, excited to use my employee discount for a nice meal. My father recently had a heart transplant following a horrific heart attack and car accident. His transplant occurred in February, and he has since been on a slew of medications to ensure that his body doesn't reject this new organ. Due to these medications and in combination with him being diabetic, his blood sugar is carefully monitored. He had taken his blood sugar prior to our meal, and it was a little low, so he decided to indulge in a brownie dessert after finishing off his Friday fish fry, which, by the way, was delicious. Shortly after finishing dessert, we got the check and were joking around. He was laughing and looked like he was doing a goofy dance. Being a typical daughter, constantly embarrassed of her dad, I asked him to stop, but he was unresponsive. I asked him again, and then started to notice that the twitching was not in fact dancing, and that something was wrong. I turned to my mom and had her call 911. He was having a seizure, shaking uncontrollably, coughing up blood, and his face and lips were turning pale from lack of oxygen. He started to sink underneath the table. At this point, my mother was on the phone with the paramedics, and they were instructing us to lie him flat on the ground. However, his legs were tangled around the legs of the table, and he was still half sitting in the booth. At this point, we had about half the staff surrounding us, helping us out. We ended up having to lift the table out from over him in order to lie him flat on the ground where he would be safest. During this incredibly stressful and scary situation, the staff at Craftsman did everything in their power to help and assist us in order to ensure that my dad wasn't harmed during the seizure. They helped my mom communicate with the paramedics over the phone as we waited for the ambulance to arrive, and essentially dropped everything to move a table up and out of the way. We felt horrible that we had interrupted a nice, quiet lunch shift. They were comforting and only focused on getting the help my dad needed. I still feel so grateful to each and every employee who helped us handle such a traumatic situation. Thank you, Craftsman Table and Tap, and thank you, Food Fight, for training such amazing people. Best, Carly Kirkpatrick and family.
All right, are we ready for our next award recipient? Our next recipient has mad kitchen skills, and he's a loving father to a beautiful baby girl named Marion. Ladies and gentlemen, standing 6'4" tall from Baraboo, Wisconsin, let's welcome Logan Reese.
All right, so Logan here, his general manager says, and Chef Raya say that Logan's very personally invested in the restaurant. He's unfazed by any situation and has seen a lot of crazy situations since being at Everly and Nico since opening 2 restaurants, opening pretty much at the same time. He always has the right tool for the job and is always willing to go above and beyond for the guests and staff. And that's why Logan's here. He's definitely done that. The reason Logan's winning this award is for one night there was a server at the restaurant and her car wouldn't start. Logan lives in Baraboo, as stated here, but before he took off for Baraboo, since his employee's car wouldn't start, he ran to a car parts store, bought the part that was needed for the car, then came back and installed it in the car for the employee. Before he had it home done. And that's not all. Just one other quick little story to talk about Logan is there was a time when he found out one of the line cooks was sleeping on the floor in her apartment because she didn't have a bed. Logan borrowed his father-in-law's van so that he could transport a mattress for her so that she had a bed to sleep on. Thank you, Logan.
Nicely done, Logan. All right, our next award recipient, everybody. He is a mountain biker, formerly with dreadlocks down to the middle of his back. Yes, it's true. It happened. He is standing 6'1" from Merida, Venezuela. Let's welcome Jose Garcia.
All right, so Jose Garcia, yes, that is Elizabeth Garcia Hall's significant other. So it's we usually don't allow Jose to win anything because it would seem rigged, but it's not rigged. This guy, he could win an award every year for all the great things he does. But so a little piece about Jose here is Jose's supervisor characterizes him as having serious commitment to the success of the diner. He brings to the table a hefty dose of handsome and saucy swing in his hips on the dance floor. Damn it, DH. I guess we know who that supervisor was. So we'll skip the sauciness on that one. But the reason why Jose wins this award, and he could win this many times, but for this award, there was a guest that commented to Jose that her daughter was graduating from UW Milwaukee, and she was really sad that, was it a mother or the grandmother? The grandmother couldn't make it to the ceremony because she was in a wheelchair and just wasn't doing very well. So Jose decided on a busy Saturday brunch to reserve a table for this family, and the guest contacted a UW Milwaukee professor where the student was graduating from. That professor came to town, came to Hubbard, and they held a little graduation ceremony in Hubbard Avenue Diner during a busy Saturday brunch. So the grandmother got to see her granddaughter. They actually played the graduation march. The granddaughter walked out of the bathroom, got her diploma from the professor in her cap and gown, and the grandmother was super overjoyed to be able to see the entire experience. So Jose, set that up. Great.
Our next award recipient. She runs high school cross country. She's looking for colleges on the East Coast. She stands 5'4" tall from right here in Madison, Wisconsin. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Lily Reiser. Let's see those cross-country skills. Run up there, come on.
Okay, Lily. Sweet Lily. Lily's manager shared. Lily is a really hard worker who always brings a positive attitude and energy to every shift. She's great with communication and helping out other team members. More importantly, Lily is just a really good person, and that shows through the countless situations at Luigi's. Here's what Lily did, and you'll quickly pick up on which stories Kevin delegated to me. One Sunday, a young girl around 9 years old wandered into Luigi's. She politely asked Lily to call her a cab. Lily did everything she could to find a cab for the girl. Another employee suggested each person pitch in $3 or $4 so she could afford the ride home. But Lily did a little bit more digging. and found out where she was coming from. It turns out she had walked an hour and a half from Briar Patch, the local youth service center, to the Sequoia Library, but no one at the library was willing to help her. Dylan suggested that they call the facility to figure out what happened. Thankfully, someone answered and was able to come pick the young girl up. While she waited, however, Lily offered her a lemonade and let her pick anything she'd like to eat from the menu, telling the little girl not to worry because she'd pay for whatever she wanted. Lily stuck by her side to make sure she was comfortable and felt at home the entire time she was at Luigi's. She talked to her and let her play on her phone while she was eating, and I could see the concern and worry in Lily as she told me what was going on. She truly could have saved that young girl's life, all by being kind and giving to a stranger who happened to stumble into a pizzeria.
Amazing. All right, our next award recipients
And our
and our final ones.
what I like better than bacon and mashed and
Homegrown tomatoes.
Up in the morning and out.
All right, everybody. She is a swim team coach. Recently traveled to Columbia. She is 5'11" tall from Middleton, Wisconsin. Everybody is Haley Johnson. Joining Haley, a card shark at the poker table. Wonder how she's doing at the blackjack table tonight. Standing 5'4" tall from Middleton, Wisconsin. Everybody, Debbie Johnson.
Put them in a salad, put them in a stew. You can make your own very own tomato juice. You can eat them with eggs, eat them with gravy. You can eat them with beans, in or navy. Put them on.
I can't say what the. Yeah, what the, she said. Of this mother-daughter duo, Jose shared this. Debbie is a very reliable, experienced, and a trustworthy employee. She always does her best to do the right thing for the customers. The apple doesn't fall very far from the tree. Haley is very kind and empathetic with a desire to please everyone. She's a hard worker and a good problem solver. Both of them have a great heart and are very strong leaders. So Hubbard, like many of our other restaurants, employs people with special needs. Each day, Daniel and Tony come to the diner to wipe down menus and high chairs. They fold t-shirts, and then they wipe down the walls, things of this nature. If you stop by, you can't miss him. Daniel is nonverbal, but he wears a smile as part of his uniform. He's just over 7 feet tall. Yep. Tony is always faithfully by his side, at just over 5 feet. You'll never see them without a smile at the diner. About a month ago, Daniel's mother contacted Monty. She said Daniel had come home from school the day before with a Mickey Mouse t-shirt and a goofy hat with big floppy ears that hung down. This on the 7-foot-tall teenager. She contacted the school and asked where they came from. The teacher sent along 2 photos of Daniel and Tony with Haley and Debbie. They had just gotten back from vacation in Florida and brought t-shirts and hats for each of the boys. Daniel's mom said, "We can't tell you how much this kind and heartwarming gesture means to us and to Daniel. We wanted to let you know how wonderful the staff, and particularly Haley and Debbie, are, and how wonderful they have been to Daniel and Tony. Thank you so much."
All right, and so that is all the awards for tonight. Great stories, obviously, like I said, and that's all those stories, and we know there's many, many more of them. We honor them all throughout the year. This was just kind of the creme de la creme, and we thank all of these people for all the great things they do, and I thank all of you. I know you're doing a lot of these great stories too, so thank you. All right. quick segue here. As in every year, we have a little when it's time to part.